Hey guys, Zanza here. Happy Monday. Today is December 11th. It's currently 11 a.m. Eastern Time for those of you who don't know. I wanted to take the time to actually look at last week and see where we end up with the quizzes and also the polls that I did for the channel. If you guys are new here, you guys will see that I'm trying to start this thing where we do Monday through Friday, one image poll, one quiz, see the results that we get and kind of just go over it. Without further ado, let's actually get started on these. So last Monday we started this whole out of these protagonists, who do you think can be the other three's main characters? I accidentally called them protagonists, but that's technically what they are. They're not the main characters. For GX and for Zexal, Kaiser, and Kaito might, yes or no, be the main rivals, but I'll leave that to you guys. Assuming they have access to all modern cards, I should have been a little bit more specific and mentioned that not only do they have access to all the modern cards, but they also have access to the knowledge of all the summoning mechanics, new rules, Master Rule 5, all those different things. I should have been more specific, but with 404 votes, clear winner is Akaba Reiji, as no surprise, followed by Kaiba, and then Kaito, and then Kaiser being last place. Comment-wise, we have people saying that modern cards, Reiji has the experience and knowledgeable of 4 summon methods, and my previous comment was basically targeted towards you. You're absolutely right. I should have been a lot more specific with the rules of who would defeat the main rivals out of the other threes. So that means Reiji would have had to duel Yugi, would have had to duel Jaden or Judai, depending if you're a sub or dub person, and then Kaito. Kaiser may be the one because Cyber Dragons are no joke. That is true. Cyber Dragons have access to a lot of different cards that people don't really try or get or really use that often. For example, Cyber Eltane or Eltalane is basically a new card that does not destroy, it just simply banishes the monsters and potentially OTK if you set it up correctly. Reiji 100% slapped those dudes easily. Thank you, Ottawa's TCG, a member of the channel. If we take it as each of them in 2023 level support, if Reiji goes first, they are toast. I think that is pretty solid. Basically, it all depends on who goes first and who goes second. Kaito having Galaxy Eye support, super duper prime something, tri-head dragon with broken effects. I agree. So it all depends on who goes first. In my opinion, I'm always going to assume that Reiji is going to win. But if I'm trying to be unbiased, if he goes second, Reiji might have a harder time against Yuma. Because again, these guys are not dueling each other, they're simply dueling the protagonists of the other characters. Against Yugi, he might win because Yugi's pretty basic unless he goes full Dark Magician support and then just, gets the field going for it. But Reiji can easily get rid of that field. Judai's Elemental Heroes might be actually the closest thing to a proper rivalry since it is a toolbox kind of deck, and so is DDD. Kaito, if he sets up his board fully with like maybe 2-3 negates, he would probably be a force to be reckoned with. And this is also assuming that they used maybe hand traps and then also used the main cards from their archetypes. Not necessarily, you're not going to see Reiji using Kurikara, for example, which is the #1 thing that I will use against Kaito. Looking at Tuesday, we have the quiz. What is the best DDD monster to use against the full board Kashtira field if you go second? The options were DDD Super Doom King Bright Armageddon, DDD DD Super Dimensional Sovereign Emperor Zero Paradox, DDD Vice King Requiem, and DDD Super Side Zero Maxwell. The reason behind this is that you want to essentially get over their board, wipe their field out, and not really deal with it. If you go first and you know they're using Kashtira or any deck that actually targets, then your best bet is to summon Bright Armageddon. Super Dimensional Sovereign Emperor Zero Paradox is a viable option. It destroys everything on the field. They can't do anything after it since the Kashtiras need the effects to resolve first. However, the issue is that you essentially need 4 cards to get this done. I need the 2 scales and a monster between those scales, for example a 3 and a 5, and then you have a 1 level 4, summon level 4, and then immediately go into Zero Paradox. The issue is Shangri-La's effect that prevents it from being destroyed. So essentially you are left with maybe 2 cards in the hand that may or may not be usable, and then you're kind of stuck there, and then next turn they'll be able to replenish their board essentially. So Zero Paradox would have been a great effect if one of the cards you drew was Infinite Impermanence and you activate it to negate Shangri-La, but then hopefully Arise Heart isn't able to take that card and have 3 materials to easily get rid of one of your scales. So that is the problem here. Super Side Zero Max was obviously pretty good. It was one of the first cards that I opted to use against Kashtira until I remembered that Shangria has a non-destruction clause. But 3000 defense, if you can maybe negate Shangria, and that's really all they have to deal with, Zero Maxwell would be a useful card, but not the best option. The best option, of course, is going to be Vice King Requiem. That is only if you end up using Zeus in the deck. So the basic combo is you search with Gate or Kepler for Gates, and then you search for Vice King Requiem, or if you're lucky you have it already in your hand in another random Dark Contract. You set Requiem to the Pendulum Scale, and then you destroy the card, and then you are able to special summon it to the field. Note that if a Rise Heart already has 2 materials and it decides to take your destroyed contract, you're kind of in trouble, so watch out for that. Anyway, so the idea is then you overlay into Deus Machinex, and then you attack Shangria. You don't destroy it, no damage is done. Then you go into main phase 2, and then you overlay into Zeus, and Zeus nukes the board. But that essentially leaves you a little bit open if they have something in their hands, but they also have counter trap cards they can probably use, so be wary of that. Sometimes you just need to go ahead and trigger everything and then Kurikara, or have other methods. But from a DDD standpoint, Vice King Requiem is your best bet if you end up using Zeus. In terms of comments, we have Not Gonna Lie, choose the DDD one. I was wrong. I got it right because I was the one that said the same thing on Discord. That is actually correct. So shout out to Shinon Fisher for being the person that brought this to my attention. I didn't realize this myself. It was definitely someone on Discord. I don't remember if your name is the same on Discord versus YouTube, so I apologize if I completely messed up the names or anything like that. But thank you so much, Shinon Fisher. Raigeki, or if it gets negated, fine. Opponent used the negate already, so now you can summon. Okay, so that's fair. It depends on your floodgates and stuff that you have in your main DDD deck. If you choose to go Raigeki route, by all means, of course, use those cards over Vice King Requiem, but that wasn't the whole point of the quiz. I'm just happy to be able to finally get the right answer on the first try. Michael, thank you for being honest about that. Most people usually end up choosing what they think is the right answer, but then they notice that they're wrong, so then they immediately change their answer. So I wonder how many folks actually really said Vice King Requiem and then were 100% on the first try versus folks who just, oh, let me pick Bright Armageddon. Oh, no, it's wrong. Okay, I'm changing my answer. Now on Wednesday we have Favorite Dark Contract, removing Gate because it would be obvious. It would be the obvious choice. With 549 votes, 55% overwhelming majority, Dark Contract with the Swamp is the winner, followed by Dark Contracts with Patent License, then Eternal Darkness, and then Dark Contract with the Witch. In terms of comments, we have folks that's saying for how good the effect is, Dark Contract with the Errors, and for what it does represents, Patent License. I agree. Dark Contract with the Patent License, for those of you who don't really use it as a field spell, but just for the dumping effect. The main effect is that if they summon an extra deck monster that you already have on the field, they have to pay 1000 life points to do it, and then they can no longer summon any more monsters of that same type. Unless, of course, they destroy your monster. It's not like for the rest of the turn thing, even if this card is destroyed, unfortunately. For me, Dark Contract with the Errors carried me a lot through, definitely against Labyrinth. I agree, Contract with the Errors is a pretty solid card. Dark Contract with the Yami Makai plus Cerberus is like, do whatever you want to try. I still don't know what that really means. I haven't really looked into it yet. Primo, if you emphasize on what that is, that'd be cool. Dark Contract of the Eternal Abyss saw me through Super Poly Kaijus and Lava Golem. Just to clarify, it only works against Super Polymerization if you already have it face up on the field. If you activate it and they change Super Poly to it, unfortunately they can still bypass Eternal Darkness and then use your monsters for fusion summons. They don't negate Kaijus and Lava Golem type monsters because they tribute to special summon. They don't tribute to normal summon or tribute summon. So unfortunately, Eternal Darkness won't really work that way. I think White was just lucky when folks read that card and they realized they couldn't tribute or whatever their monsters. They just thought it meant all kinds of tributes. Eternal Darkness and License can shut down entire deck. Okay, Dark Contract of Entities for freestyle summoning for full benefits. We have another user that uses Entities. Maybe you should give it a try. I mean, I haven't really tried it much, mainly because it's like 2000 and I can't really use it. I'd rather have Swamp or Contract of the Gate in my hand, in my opening hand. Patent because it's won me so many games just by by itself. And then for Thursday, it's kind of an open-ended quiz. This really should have been more of a poll, but I needed a quiz for the alternate date. DDD alone, not counting decks like Unchained, who use it as support, is not considered in any tier list, sometimes not even as a rogue deck. If we can have one new card created for the deck, which effect will allow DDD to reach at least tier 2 rank. This is actually pretty open-ended. There are really no wrong answers. This is primarily based on what I personally think. I maybe should have put a disclaimer on there, but with 225 votes, the majority of folks think that adding a Link 1 monster that summons from the deck is the best option. The basic idea is you summon a DD card, use it to link summon a Link 1 monster. Link 1 activates its effect, you take 1,000 life points, you get locked into using DD only, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower DD monster from your deck. Maybe it would be best to use a Pendulum DD and not like a standard DD, because being able to special summon your Lamia or anything like a Typhon or one of the slimes might be a little broken for your combos. So to make it a little bit more balanced, something like you can only special summon DD Pendulum monster as level 4 or lower, and then be able to be locked into DDs only for the rest of the turn. Then you can go ahead with that monster and your Link monster. By the way, the special summon DD monster is summoning a DD monster summoned in defense mode, and it has its effect negated, because I mean, summoning it from Copernicus and then stumping to the graveyard, that's still the same exact thing as summoning one of the non-Pendulum DD monsters. So do that, and then you go into Gilgamesh, you take another 1,000 damage, so you're down to 6,000, and then if you do the shenanigans with Oblivion King, you're down to 5,000 life points, starting the deck out like that. And if you have one or two contracts on the field and they get rid of those Machinex, you take another 2,000 life points, so you're down to 3,000. That's all the damage your opponent has to do. And that kind of effect would make it a little bit more balanced. Being locked into DD also makes it so that you can't do a lot of shenanigans with it. So making any DD monster on the field being able to link into Link 1 would be great, and it would basically also allow us to add cards like Forbidden Dark Contract with the Swamp King, which lets you special summon a DDD monster to the field, and then go off from there. There are a lot of different options in there, so I mean, people are really into the idea of a Link 1 monster. In terms of comments, we have Average Joe saying that Abyss Actors are Dark Fiend Pendulums that are known to play pure and have insane Link 1 and Link 2 monsters. Do you know what's also familiar without the Link 1 part? Make it happen, Konami. I agree. If Abyss Actors get it, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get it too. At Dogs TCG says, I very much like the idea of a Link 1 that can be special summoned from the deck. Not only every DDD being a one-card combo is great, but I also like the idea of a Link being a toolbox for the whole deck, so you have everything on demand. Exactly, Link 1, if we can just get that, it'd be amazing. All of the above, unfortunately, the game moved past 1 negate, and it takes usually up to 4 in order to completely lock a board down. DDD's boss monsters can handle that. Getting to them is an entirely different issue, to where everyone knows how to shut it down. I was looking for a Link 1 monster the other day that's compatible. That would be great, especially when our cards get Ash Blossom and we are left out there in the Lonely Island. Monster can be banished itself from the graveyard to search a contract. That would be cool. Most likely a rank up spell. Oh my god, rank up spells. That would be so amazing. The reason why I ended up using Wonder XYZ and now recently the Armored Exceed trap cards is because I wanted to be able to have an alternative to rank up magic. Rank ups have been some of my favorite things from Zexal anime, and it's just so cool being able to say, like, I activate rank up magic, blah 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 blah. So for us, it would probably be a dark contract, maybe something like I activate rank up magic, dark contract with the Barian Force, something like that. That would be cool. I really like the concept. I say a rank up spell card. I guess a lot of people like the idea of into Kali Yuga, but we have different options to get Kali Yuga already. So I'm still, as much as I would love a rank up card, I would stick with a rank 1 monster. Abyss Actors plus DDD and New Fusion Archetype. That'd be actually kind of cool to add Abyss Actors, since Reiji and Salvatore kind of have a little bit of a rapport. DDD has an in archetype draw 2 since when? Oh, sorry, Insidious. I didn't mean that we already had a draw 2. I meant cards that like Pot of Despair and stuff that let us draw 2 cards already, so we don't really need our very own DD card like Destiny Draw. And finally, we come to Friday with 587 votes. Slime vs. Slime. Which is your favorite DD slime? And overwhelmingly, DD Swirl Slime beats DD Necro Slime. Sorry, Necro Slime. It's just that Swirl Slime has so much more variety to it. You can fusion summon from the hand, and you can banish it to special summon from the hand. Having two effects automatically makes it so much better than Necro Slime, and I think a lot of people kind of agree. Some folks even mentioned that they end up working, cohesively together. In terms of comments, people say Swirl can save you from a break hand if you don't have access to a Dark Contract or a Savant. I love the utility the green slime provides. Which is better, Slime or Typhon? Technically, it's Necro Slime. Typhon, you need to use it right away, and if it's in the graveyard on your next turn, you can't really use it since it was placed there the previous turn. And if you return it from the banish zone, you actually can't use Typhon's effect. Typhon requires you to send it to the graveyard, but not return it. Phrasing is important, and that's why Necro Slime actually beats Typhon every single time, in my opinion. That's really it for the quizzes and the image polls. This video was actually meant to go out last Monday, but unfortunately we're doing it a week later, frankly, because I had so much things to do for work and for family stuff coming towards the end of the year. So sorry that the video is late. I will try to make the next one a little bit more on time for Monday, maybe even Tuesday the latest. I didn't want to just delete the whole video because it did take me a long time to edit. It's just removing all the long pauses, all the wrong things that I've said, and honestly that took much longer than I had anticipated, to be perfectly honest, and I just didn't want to throw away the project like that. Basically, it just speaks to me of having to be better at speaking to the microphone, speaking to the ideas that I have inside my head. I hope to get better at these sorts of things, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll really try to get more content up on the channel so it's not idle or dead. There's actually a few announcements coming up for January, so look forward to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.